All right, y'all. So I've been wanting to talk about my celibacy journey and what enticed me to start a celibacy journey. It's kind of something I have always done throughout life, just automatically to like self-preserve and purify myself, kind of like a holy water situation. So this is something I feel called to do at particular times in my life for particular reasons and for particular lengths of time. A lot of the time, it's induced. I have a very sensitive womb. I have endometriosis, healing through endometriosis. We're still getting there, catching up with science and such, but I'm pretty ahead of the game as far as my own healing journey, but it's still a lot of loose ends there. But most of the time, it is when my womb is in complete rejecting to any sort of penetration energetically or physically. So the first time was around 2017, 2018. I was in a relationship with somebody who had a really, really toxic field. I was aware of some toxicity, but I was not aware of the depth of toxicity that my womb was taking on and that I was taking on energetically. Let's just remember that women hold on to their partner's energies, whoever they sleep with and exchange energy with, for 7 years. I truly believe it. Myself, you don't have to believe me, but there's a lot of research and evidence that talk about this type of thing. And from my own perspective, I will say that it's true. So with that being said, being in a relationship that had so many backdoor things that I was unaware of, that I was commingling with without my consent, that was really causing damage to my womb. I need 100% transparency when it comes to my womb and the energy that is mingling and weaving with my womb. So not having that with that partner caused me a lot of womb ailments, which I already had endometriosis, but that relationship, I almost died after we broke up. And there was just so much uncertainty and unknowing of what was going on. And it was because a lot was in the dark that I didn't know until later on. So that kind of forced me in a celibacy mode because of how ill I was. I was so ill and did not want to give my body to other people, but also just felt like the energy, it was very closed up. My feminine was like really closed off and dying. It felt like there was attachments all over the womb. I was plastered with so much stuff. This is what got me down to Florida, and I had my first robotic surgery, and it was a huge success with a cancer specialist in Fort Myers, Florida, who no longer is practicing, Dr. Orr, who's retired now. Very grateful for him keeping my womb intact. There was a small portion of my left ovary removed, but I was able to keep a majority of the left ovary, the right ovary, and everything else as far as uterus and womb, fallopian tubes, all that. I was celibate for about a year and then met an amazing person who met someone that I felt deserved my energy, and we were in like a similar space, frequency, and spiritual wise, if that makes sense. We were doing the same thing. Astrology was super potent, super aligned. Everything was just good. It was back in around 2018. This most recent time that I was celibate, which started probably back in like the beginning of 2023, end of 2022. I don't really remember. It's been a long time that my sexual energy has felt free and pure and not siphoned. So trying to get all the dates right for you guys. But there was a situation where, and this is no call out or rudeness to anyone involved, but this is just for transparency and for me sharing in hopes to help other people. I was in a situation where there were particular energies and things that I did not consent to and I was not aware of being present in the space that really affected me, that really affected my womb, that really affected my body. I just felt very, it was just like a feeling of rape with my womb because there were things I did not consent to that I took on, and that made me very upset. So that made me really shut off my womb space in February. I think it was 2023 February that was around. It was a new moon in Pisces, so I remember it pretty well because I felt shut down at that point. Like that It was a interesting experience, beautiful in so many ways, but there were a lot of things that were not consented to, understood, discussed, or talked about. And prior to that, or after that happened, I really felt like I wanted to shut my box up completely and never let anyone ever touch me again. So after that happened, I had there was a lot more health stuff arising, and I'm just on the tail end of it now. Like, I'm better. Most of you guys saw how I was looking just 6 months ago, so I'm still healing up pretty well, and still collecting everything. I had a lot of brain fog, guys. Like, I was really not well. My brain, like the brain, that I'm going back and looking at the things I was writing and saying, and nothing was cohesive, really. So if you understood me at any time back then, you must be like a Secret Service person or someone that can read Morse code. But yeah, pretty much I had some deep wound things going on. When I feel betrayed, even if it's not conscious, if there's a betrayal on my womb, I'm going to feel it. I'm going to have some type of reaction to it regarding my endometriosis, or some type of inflammation coming up, or emotional thing coming up, emotional inflammation. So that made me really celibate, really close off this past, 2023, pretty much to now. I did have a beautiful encounter a couple months ago, but that also was karmic and a lot of closing cycles, and made me even more preserve my body, because I really I feel the whole wave of like, we're not sleeping with men anymore. I get it. I was there just a couple years ago, because I felt like I was betrayed in a way, and I felt like my body was not honored and respected as it should be. So that made me take it away completely. I totally was there. I didn't shave my head. Got to that feeling though, like, you know what? I just don't want to be pretty. I don't want to be sexy. I don't want to be appetizing for males at all, because why do you deserve that from me? Why do you deserve that from me when it's consistent feeling of being raped? So, and most of you that have been here for a while, I've had sexual abuse since very young, and a lot of it runs in particular things with my lineage. So a big healing along with the royal family, incestual things, all of that is on my radar and always has been, okay? Cult conditioning, reprogramming. So that's kind of what happens when you grow up in a cult environment. Yeah, I just wanted to share my perspective and my healing. I'm not closed up to men. I'm not lesbian. It'd be so much easier if I could be a lesbian, but, I'm very bisexual, but I'm very towards, like, working with men, because that's what I'm designed for. Designed to work with women as well, but particularly when it comes to union and such, it needs to be with the masculine for me. So it's been very frustrating to have to shut off myself in that way, because I don't feel like anyone has deserved it, or has appreciated it, or has honored it. It just made me really feel like a product that to be consumed. And that just like changed my whole mindset about myself, my value, and the ways that I share my energy, who I share it with, who deserves it, who doesn't, who has taken it just, without any regard or appreciation or understanding of what it is. So I was celibate for a bit. This movement is making me not want to be celibate, because I love love. I love sex. I'm a Scorpio, so I love everything having to do with the sexy, healthy parts of intimacy. I'm all about building that, understanding that, winding that down, and bringing people closer to that within themselves and within their unions. I love to be Cupid. So I'm back on my Cupid grind. I'm not sure if I'll be dating or fornicating, but I really want to, promote that for the couples that are healing and can hold space for each other and not make each other feel raped or siphoned from, but make each other feel loved and poured into and appreciated and honored for their bodies, especially the women, as men are there to make a deposit, right? Make a deposit. You're not there to just, withdraw. That's a little inverted to me, a little reverse Uno card action going on there. But yeah, keep your hearts open. There are good men out here. There are men working on themselves, just like the women are. So keep open. Don't close up completely.